Murder mysteries might be the most addictive type of movie there is, and Rian Johnson and Daniel Craig have been putting the team on their back when it comes to resurrecting them. So do they strike gold once again on their third try? Let's talk about it. Wake Up Dead Man is the third Knives Out mystery, and it follows a young priest who is sent to assist charismatic firebrand Monsignor Jefferson Wicks. But it's clear that all is not well in the pews. After a sudden and seemingly impossible murder rocks the town, the lack of an obvious suspect prompts the local police chief to join forces with renowned detective Benoit Blanc to unravel a mystery that defies all possible logic. So murder mystery movies like this one just have to be one of the easiest sells of all time at this point, right? Get an impressive cast, pick a cool setting, and offer up a story that makes the audience want to play along while bad decisions are continuously made. That's all you need to tell me if you want to get my butt into a seat, honestly. I'm someone who loved Knives Out back in 2019, wasn't a huge fan of Glass Onion a few years later, but obviously was still very interested to see more out of this series. I mean, there's a lot of passion put into these projects, and who am I to deny Daniel Craig from doing his best Foghorn Leghorn impression for as long as he wants to? So when I sat down to watch this movie, I was hoping to get another witty and entertaining murder mystery that's a lot more like the first Knives Out movie than the second film, and Wake Up Dead Man might overcomplicate itself a bit for its own good when it comes to the actual murder at hand, but it's definitely still a fun and worthwhile entry involving this franchise. When it comes to the story they decided to go with here, you already know what you're getting yourself into right from the jump. There's a murder that happens in a wacky setting, and a bunch of these quirky characters are all the main suspects. This is probably the most overtly thematic narrative we've gotten in the franchise so far, diving right into a lot of religious subtext that's littered in there from beginning to end. It definitely feels like the most serious and dramatic entry when you consider the subject matter of the background, but there's still plenty of that signature charm and goofiness that we've seen these movies bring to the table. I think how this specific murder was pulled off and the explanation behind it probably has one too many layers for its own good, though, and you might be left questioning why a couple of the steps mattered by the time the credits rolled. Like, there's straight up too much going on sometimes when it comes to the motives and every character's involvement in this plot, but it's still a fun time guessing what's really going on here and just seeing it all unfold, even if it's not as airtight as what that first movie gave us. Let's dive into the performances in this movie, because this franchise is known for always having a sprawling and talented cast associated with every one of its entries, and that's no different here. Much like the first two movies, there's one character that the story is centered around and kind of acts as Benoit Blanc's partner in crime, and that's filled by Josh O'Connor as this young priest. I actually didn't really know who he was until Challengers last year, but ever since then, he's been really good in everything that I've seen him in, and luckily that's still the case in this film. It almost got to the point that I was so comfortable with him manning this investigation that I forgot that Benoit Blanc was even going to show up at some point and take control in the most sarcastic way possible. But it should come as no shock that Daniel Craig continues to be so good in this role as this private detective with a solid dose of Southern charm. The rest of the cast definitely gets the job done too. I mean, you've got Josh Brolin, Kerry Washington, Jeremy Renner, Glenn Close, and a bunch of others rounding out this jam-packed roster. They have good chemistry amongst one another, and it's fun to watch all of them interact. Sometimes having a cast this impressive isn't always a good thing, though, because somebody is inevitably going to get left in the dust when it's all said and done. There are a lot of mouths to feed here, and I think the actor who gets the short end of the stick this time around is Kaylee Spaney. She is criminally underutilized in this movie, which is a total bummer, seeing as she's one of the best young actors out there working today. Another aspect I want to talk about with this movie is just the quality of the direction we get from Rian Johnson here. In full transparency, I pretty much loathe his contribution to the Star Wars franchise and have the scene of Princess Leia floating through space like she's in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade burned into my brain, but there's no denying that he's really such a talented director otherwise. Outside of this franchise, Looper is a movie that I still recommend to people to this day, and it proves that the guy for sure knows his way around a camera. When you look at Wake Up Dead Man, it's really the full package from a technical perspective. The cinematography is handled well, the color grading is aesthetically pleasing, and you just feel like you're watching a movie that's using its budget super efficiently. Rian Johnson also somehow finds a way to be really funny while sitting in the director's chair when it comes to the use of specific camera angles and the actual timing of all the cuts, which is obviously pretty much a director's superpower in and of itself. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this film when it comes to how it was made. I just wish the story came together as well as we've seen it do in the past. Overall, guys, Wake Up Dead Man is another entertaining and comical entry in this murder mystery franchise. Daniel Craig continues to be really fun to watch as the character of Benoit Blanc, and his energy is complemented super well by a fantastic Josh O'Connor. Rian Johnson crafts another twisty and turny chain of events that are satisfying to follow follow, even if they might hit us with one too many surprises than necessary, just for the sake of making it harder to guess the culprit. It doesn't reach the heights of the first film, but I'll gladly take another one of these movies every couple of years for as long as I live. Wake Up Dead Man gets a Sully score of 3.5 stars. So that's my review of the latest Knives Out related film. Which one of these from the trilogy has been your favorite so far? I think I have to go with the original back in 2019, but let me know in the comments below what you think. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys at the next one.